The moment Courtney Hadwin stepped onto the AGT stage, people knew she wasn't just another young singer. There was something different about her, something fans whispered about, argued over, and tried to piece together for years. And now, after staying silent for so long, Courtney has finally spoken, and it sent shockwaves through everyone who followed her journey. Her voice, her sudden rise, her almost unbelievable transformation on stage. Everything feels a little more meaningful now. Fans always suspected there was a deeper truth behind the girl with the powerhouse voice. For the first time, she's finally confirming it. All about AGT. America's Got Talent, or simply AGT, as most refer to it, is one of those shows that almost everyone has heard of. It's loud, emotional, dramatic, sometimes funny and full of surprises. But behind all the glitter and excitement, the show actually has a pretty interesting history. AGT premiered on June 21st, 2006 on NBC. It was not just a show that was done on a whim. This was actually part of a much larger idea by Simon Cowell himself, the very same person behind the X Factor. He wanted to design a competition of talents that was not restricted to one. Instead of just singing or dancing, he wanted a show where people of any age from any country could perform any type of talent. Magic, stunts, comedy, animal tricks, or anything else that wowed an audience. That idea became the very foundation of the whole Got Talent franchise. Interestingly, AGT wasn't supposed to start in the U.S. The plan was to launch a British version in 2005 and 2006 with TV star Paul O'Grady as host. But after O'Grady got into a dispute with UK broadcaster ITV, the whole project fell apart. Instead of waiting, Simon Cowell pushed ahead and took the idea to America. NBC loved the concept, especially after seeing the pilot that had been filmed for the UK, and immediately ordered episodes for their summer schedule. The first season included Regis Philbin as its host and judges like David Hasselhoff, Brandy Norwood, and Piers Morgan. Without Cowell on this panel of judges, the show became a huge ratings hit. Its success prompted ITV to restart the British version the following year, which is how Britain's Got Talent was born. And from that point on, the global franchise just exploded. Today, AGT attracts performers from all over the world. Even though it's an American show, its stage has seen magicians from Asia, dance groups from Africa, singers from Europe, and even robots from Japan. The current judges are Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, Mel B, and Sofia Vergara, and Terry Crews is the host. Winners of AGT get a huge cash prize, and since Season 3, the opportunity to headline a show on the Las Vegas Stripper Dream for many entertainers. It also averages around 10 million viewers a season, proving that the format still has huge appeal. Over the years, AGT has grown so much that it has spawned multiple spin-offs. AGT The Champions, AGT Extreme, AGT All-Stars, and AGT Fantasy League. A book called Inside AGT was even released in 2013, sharing behind-the-scenes stories and interviews with past contestants. In other words, instead of merely being a hit, AGT created a worldwide legacy that continued to bring into the spotlight extraordinary talents from every part of the globe. Courtney Hadwin's early life and career. Courtney Hadwin grew up in the quiet village of Heasan in County Durham, where life was simple and family-centered. She lived at home with her parents Paul and Anne-Marie along with her younger siblings, her brother Paul and her sister Melissa, who were always by her side, cheering her on. Courtney went to Heasan Primary School and later studied at the academy at Shotton Hall in Peterlee until late 2018. From a very start, teachers and friends realized she wasn't like the other kids. She was shy, yes, but she had a voice that could absolutely shake a room. To shape that voice, Courtney trained at several places: Shotton Hall Theater School, Tash and Peter, Peanuts Master Classes, the Kate Sir School of Music, and Julie Miles's Vocal Ovation. Each space helped her build a little more confidence. Although she was still known for being a quiet girl offstage, but the moment she held a microphone, everything changed. Most people know her as a standout finalist from America's Got Talent in 2018, but her journey actually started years earlier. Her first singing competition audition was at Teen Star in Newcastle in April 2015, when she sang Bob Dylan's Make You Feel My Love. She reached the grand final, which for such a young talent was quite an accomplishment. Then in the same year, her singing of Say Something during lunchtime at school went viral, alerting others who hadn't heard her name before. In 2016, she won Hartley's Performer of the Year award. And in 2017, she opened at the South Tyneside Festival for Sister Sledge in front of 18,000 people. She also sang at a fundraiser for youth support in 2018 to help raise money for children with serious illnesses. Her big TV breakthrough came when she auditioned for The Voice Kids UK in 2017 with Tina Turner's Nutbush City Limits. Well, I.M. was so impressed he asked her to repeat part of the performance just so he could see her dance again. She chose Danny Jones as her coach and made it all the way to the finals, performing iconic songs such as I Got You, I Feel Good, and an I Am Telling You I'm Not Going. Then came America's Got Talent in 2018, her true turning point. Courtney walked on stage looking shy and nervous. But the moment she started singing Otis readings hard to handle, everything exploded. The audience went wild. Howie Mandel compared her to Janis Joplin and hit the golden buzzer on the spot, sending her straight to the live shows. Her audition quickly went viral, racking up over 200 million views. Although some later complained that she had hidden experience on The Voice Kids, her family and teachers came to her defense, describing how she's always been extremely shy and how many of the contestants on AGT had competed elsewhere previously. Courtney never won AGT, but she went on to perform in Las Vegas with the winner Shin Lim, sign a record deal with Psycho and Arista Records, release her own original music, and came back for America's Got Talent, the champions, with her song Pretty Little Thing. Today, she remains one of the top 50 contestants of AGT worldwide, showing that her talent, confidence, and journey have only just begun. Courtney's journey into original music and independence. Well, after performing her original song Pretty Little Thing on America's Got Talent, the champions, at just 14 years old, Courtney Hadwin took her first big step into releasing music. On October 25, 2019, she dropped her EP entitled The Cover Sessions. It featured her live covers of songs like Harry Styles' Sign of the Times, Lil Nas X's Old Town Road, the Jonas Brothers' Sucker, and Louis Capaldi's Someone You Loved. Instantly, she was called an exceptional talent with a voice and spirit well beyond her years, something her fans knew all along. When asked to name the act that inspired her musically, Courtney smiled and said the list is really long, with some key inclusions being Little Richard, James Brown, Janis Joplin, and MC Jagger. She was even booked to perform at Woodstock 50, the contemporary tribute to the legendary 1969 festival. But the event had endless problems, venue issues, funding troubles, and pressure not to pull another Woodstock 99 in disaster. Eventually, the whole festival was axed. Then came the pandemic, which shuttered live music the world over. Tours, festivals, and album releases were canceled or delayed for years. Even in the silence, Courtney didn't vanish. In November 2020, she released a heartfelt cover of John Lennon's Happy Xmas War, is over on YouTube and major streaming platforms. Courtney was also supposed to headline the FM4 Frequency Festival in 2021, which was also canceled. Somewhere in this period, she quietly broke ties with a record label involved with Psycho Music after it folded. Her independence became more pronounced when on her 2023 video for Breakable, one fan referenced Simon Cowell and Courtney responded, "It's all me for this one. Completely independent. Finally doing it my way." From 2023 onward, Courtney's creative energy exploded. On February 24th, 2023, she released her deeply emotional original single, Breakable, which she wrote with producer Kevin Bowe. Just weeks later, on April 7th, she dropped another original entitled That Girl Don't Live Here. In July, she released Call Me Back, a soulful ballad that revealed a softer, rawer side of her voice. On September 29th, 2023, she shared her rock-infused single, Monsters, a catchy but honest song about mental health struggles. Fans praised its upbeat feel despite its serious lyrics. And the track reached number 19 on Billboard Hard Rock Digital Song Sales Chart, a huge accomplishment for an independent young artist. Courtney kept the momentum going with the fun rock Christmas track, Christmas Rocks, which was released on November 24th, 2023. In 2024, Courtney performed for the legendary music executive Clive Davis at the New York Pop's 41st birthday gala, and later recorded all her songs live at Metropolis Studios. She released music videos for her pop-punk single Spellbound and her bluesy track You Only Love Me When I Lie. She signed with MN2S Agency in 2024. But when they couldn't secure gigs for her, she switched to manager Oliver Mojada at Total Artist Management. And that marked the next chapter in her independent, unstoppable journey. British contender on a U.S. stage. When Courtney Hadwin stepped onto America's Got Talent in 2018, nobody knew what was coming. The timid, shy teenager from the UK became an entirely different person the minute the music struck up, and her audition went viral almost overnight. People all over the world sang praises about her powerhouse voice and her unexpected stage presence. But with all the buzz and excitement surrounding her talent, not everybody had eyes on the music. A surprising controversy grew over something that had absolutely nothing to do with her. She was not American. Inside Edition noted Courtney was only in the U.S. on a short-term visa, and this minor detail quickly became a major talking point online. A segment of viewers felt perplexed or even annoyed by a non-American contestant competing on a show called America's Got Talent. Their argument went like this. If America is in the name, shouldn't the contestants be American? Some social media users even went so far as to question the fairness of allowing international performers to compete, posting comments like, "Why are there so many acts that are not American when America is in the title?" Now, none of this backlash really had to do with Courtney herself. Most people can agree she is an incredibly talented performer. Fans even rose to her defense, proclaiming talent has no borders, and AGT has welcomed performers from around the world since the show first began. Still, the criticism was more toward the concept of the show. For some viewers, the idea of giving a prime spot to international contestants was confusing, especially when the branding of the show came off as strictly American in nature. Courtney wouldn't let this noise drag her down. A teenager then, she spoke of the controversy later to Forbes with calm and poise. She said instead of getting herself and her thoughts entangled in debates and even comments on the internet, she chose to focus on her music and let the negativity swirl around her name. Amazingly mature for one so young. While the internet discussed her nationality, she had moved on, thinking of her shows, her growth, and the future ahead. Her journey on AGT became more than just a singing competition. It became a wider conversation about who gets to participate in shows like these, and whether national identity should even matter. Should talent competitions be open to the whole world? Should they strictly limit themselves to their home country? These were the kinds of questions her appearance brought to the surface. In the end, Courtney Hadwin remained at the center of two very different narratives. One celebrating her viral rise as a powerful young performer, and another questioning the rules of the show she competed on. She didn't ask for the debate, but she handled it with grace. And despite the noise, one thing stood out above everything else. Her talent was undeniable. The pressure of expectation and the eventual shift. The moment Courtney Hadwin burst onto the stage of America's Got Talent in 2018, the buzz around her was immediate and massive. She seemed headed for the top. Her audition went viral. The judges raved and many fans were ready to crown her as the winner. But as the show progressed, things changed. And for some viewers, her front run, the status turned into a burden. The expectations from the very beginning were very high. After such a striking audition, everything that was less than perfect felt like a decline. Among the reasons given to Golden Derby as to why she didn't win are several, from song choices to live performance dynamics. Many fans felt that because she started so strongly, the room for error became unbelievably small. Threads on social platforms such as Reddit have cropped up to dissect her journey. In fact, one comment said it all on RAT. The main factor of her downfall was definitely her semi-final performance, and how a lot of people noticed how blatantly favored she was, and it was too obvious. Comments like this captured the prevailing sentiment of many viewers, a feeling that the narrative surrounding Courtney was being built up so intensely. The backlash was swift once that momentum shifted. Another criticism was about the consistency in her performances. Some people felt that though the audition was extraordinary and followed by strong moments, Later performances didn't always reach the same emotional peak or raw energy. Gold Derby notes that her defeat shocked many, partly because she seemed so secure at the outset. High expectations and the perception of even a slight stumble place her under incredible scrutiny. It is important to point out, however, that these are perceptions and attitudes by parts of the audience and critics, and not about Courtney herself. Many people did not feel this way and appreciated her talent. Courtney, who spoke to Forbes about how she handles the den surrounding her, said she acknowledged that the journey had its ups and downs and that the pressure was real, but she aimed to keep her focus on the music and her growth. This sort of self-awareness hinted at her maturity even when she was young. What this story reveals is how enormous early success can be a double-edged sword. In the case of Courtney, the viral audition opened doors, but also raised the stakes incredibly high. When she didn't win, the shift in narrative felt more dramatic because the expectations were so elevated from the very start. Whether you view her path as a hiccup or a step in a larger journey, it's clear that her spin from sure winner to what happened became a talking point in its own right. Early success on AGT launched Courtney Hadwin into the spotlight, but every subsequent performance felt like a test under such intense expectations. To some, the momentum looked like it shifted. To others, she took a nonlinear path upwards. Whichever way, the story of her rise and the pressure that came with it is an important chapter in her career. Industry and label transitions. When Courtney Hadwin burst onto the scene after a powerful performance on America's Got Talent in 2018, one of her major next steps included signing with big players in the music industry. In December 2018, she signed a long-term recording and publishing deal with Psycho Music in partnership with Arista Records. She was then quoted as saying she was super excited and lucky that this opportunity to work on her music had come with so much support. The deal placed Courtney firmly in the major label world where big budgets, committees, timelines, and expectations tend to be the norm. These large labels often bring the power of major marketing, global distribution, and top producers, but also come with their own set of dynamics.